Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Can you introduce yourself and tell me about your cosplay today?
My name is Toche. My cosplay is Little Star Wing, and basically what I do is I make my own costumes. I start from scratch, and then I bring them to cons. And then now I like to do is take my old ones and kind of do a comparison of my skills getting better to what I am at now, of what level.
I heard you mention before that this is one of the ones you've had before that you just redid. So can you tell me what the process was for this?
To redid it, I had to go back deep down of my pictures of back then, and I'm like, okay, so I see I started wrong here. I had to fix the little corrections of when you're first starting sewing, which is not hand stitching everything. Get a sewing machine. So I moved up on that process and using patterns. Because when I first made this costume, I didn't use a pattern, unfortunately. And so it was kind of like lopsided. Also with the fact that with the skirt, pleated skirts aren't like this anymore, unfortunately. They don't crimple in the middle. So, it just took some time to get used to it, of changing the whole out view of the costume itself. But it wasn't a hard process until you do the before and after, and you're like, wow, I could really make jackets. I can make skirts perfectly. I could probably sell these now and people would wear them. So
That's cool. So I like that you have a sense of pride and like this is my progression so far over the years. That's really nice. You mentioned earlier, like when you were talking to my partner, that how you started getting into cosplay. What was the first time you cosplayed and how was it like?
the first cosplay I actually did was Talkaka from Blaze Blue. How I started it, I had no idea how to start it. So I just did my research of what was out currently of that time where cosplay was slowly getting up there, and there wasn't much. So I was basically on my own when it came for finding material. Where do I go? How do I make paws out of pockets? And I just basically try to use everyday clothing, like a hooded sweatshirt, try to like follow the seam lines of, okay, this is how a sweatshirt looks, and this is, I gotta make 2 pieces. And, you know, it came out just like a basic cosplay did. Not the best, but it's still a progress of, if I remake it again, I know what I did wrong, and I know how to improve it and how to make it better.
So how was the reception like in the community when you first came in?
When I first came in, it was very much, we weren't welcome, unfortunately. We were, my first con I went to was an icon, and it started up in a school. And it's a very high-end campus college, and they're not very happy with people dressing up and going to events like this, even though they're making money. So what happened was, like, even though I volunteered for 10 years, the con slowly went down because the college just decided altogether that they don't want it anymore. And they kind of like edited, also made the college bigger, so they kind of like made the rooms bigger, and they're like, no, after we're done with the renovations, we don't want that.
That's a shame. But the community themselves, like how were they when you came in?
Oh, the community itself, they were very much welcomed. If you were starting out, you know, they gave you positive feedback. They give you also like tricks and hints of, oh, maybe next time you should try this method, and you know, it might be easier and less stress on you. Or, oh, look at this video or look at this form. It tells you where to go and how to start making basic stuff. So like start at basics, start making t-shirts, start making skirts. And once you get from there, you know, you go from pants, you go for jackets, and you go from little tiny props too, so.
So are you a big anime fan, more of a sci-fi fan?
I kind of like the both. I just recently got into sci-fi because of Doctor Who, so I'm kind of like,
What was the first anime you've ever watched that pulled you into the community? And then, what was the anime that gave you the most feels, that touched you so much that you wish everyone would watch?
The first anime I watched, I believe it was when I was 5, and I think my dad said it was Astro Boy.
Okay.
But as I'm growing up, I would like to say Gundam because I was a little bit more older and I can interpret it compared to when I'm 5. So, What was the last question?
One that you loved so much that you wish everyone would watch so you could share the experience.
That's awesome. I actually have a good one for that. I would have to say Inuyasha, only for the fact that there was this one episode that got me clicked onto the show is when people were treating him differently because he was a half demon. And I was just like, this is just showing what's happening now, how race and all of that, it shows that if you're different in any other way, you're not going to be accepted. And Kagome slowly went up to him. She's like, well, I accept you. I don't care what you are. You're my friend. And that right there, it clicked to me instantly because I was like, that's really touching. Like saying that even though you're different, you're still my friend. It doesn't matter.
That's really nice. That's one of my favorite series and the ones that helped hook me.
That helped me too because I was very much different. People didn't know what race I was. I didn't have many friends. It was really hard being half black, half white because you didn't know which group to be in. Because back then everything was still a little bit segregated.
You know, it's funny. It's one of the things I love about the con. Race really doesn't matter here at all. It's just how cute you look, how awesome you look,
how your costume came out,
how brave you are to wear something that's more form-fitting. Even if you are, or if you're supposedly the right body type or the wrong body type per se, it doesn't really matter. You're just accepted. It's one of those places. I was just talking to a con staffer, like they like how race is just left at the door.
Yeah. That's what I love about the community. It doesn't matter if the character you're cosplaying is a different skin color or different race or has this. It's all accepted. You're not shunned out.
Okay. Now, seeing you on the elevator, you were like happy and proud to say, yes, I've been doing this for years. Seeing you walk around and your ability to say, I'll do photos, you seem very confident in your craft. You seem very proud of what you've accomplished, skill-wise.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's like, oh my God, she's awesome, she's beautiful, she's confident, I want to do it, but she's shy, but the person is shy? What would you say to she or he who just needs some inspiration to just start cosplaying their first time?
I would have to say for first cosplayers, you're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have your breakdowns. You're going to have your cries. You're going to have your last minute trying to sew in the hotel room. But what you really need to do is you need to keep going. Don't let people say that making cosplay is a waste of time. It's a craft. It's a full craft that if you are skilled enough, can even get a career in. Some people that started off at cosplay have jobs in Hollywood and they work on films and they do all the Lord of the Ring trilogies. You got to think about that. If you're really passionate about something, I say go for it. You're going to have those people that are like, oh, your costume wasn't made that well. That should be your motivation. That should light you up with a fire under you to say, I'm going to prove this person wrong. I can do better. And you got to come back with a costume that's like, I did this. I'm proud of all my work I did, of how long it took, and this is mine.
Now, these are two questions I'm sure you've heard before, but you had all the money in the world, all the time in the world. One, what's your dream cosplay? Mm-hmm. Two, you can get a bunch of friends together. What's your dream group cosplay?
My dream cosplay would have to be a Vocaloid, because I've always wanted to do one. I was just very scared to do one at the time when I was younger. It's because I didn't want to get shunned, because it's like she's pale and I'm kind of dark skinned, and I was like, maybe I might get made fun of wearing it back then. But now I feel more comfortable to wear it. Group cosplay wise, I'd probably like to do like Bleach or So Either.
What side of Bleach? The Shinigami, the Vice Lord? I forgot the name of those.
I would have to say the Shikigami. That to me is like, I want that.
So who'd you pick?
Captain Ichigaya. He's my favorite. I have to pick him.
Well, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.